Hi everyone, welcome to module number 1. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing, of course, is the orientation. So make sure that you complete the entire orientation, and the orientation is actually the first component of the course in the left-hand menu on Blackboard. So make sure that you complete that first. As far as module number 1, we're going to dive into our textbook. So there are readings in the textbook, chapters 1 and 2. So as we get started, we're going to start out with a very strong foundation for the course. And number 1 goes through key components of epidemiology, basically what it is, some of the key terms that you will need to know. It will talk about disease transmission, the epidemiology triangle, which is a critical component to understand, as well as primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention. So all of those are very foundational for epidemiology, so I want you to have a really good understanding of those particular components. Then as we move on to chapter number 2, it's going to be an overview of the history. Basically, how did epidemiology evolve? And you'll find some very interesting information as far as the basis of hand washing with Dr. Semmelweis way back when, but he was thought to be a quack of his day, so to speak. So just remember that the epidemiology has evolved over time, and there are very many key players that helped epidemiology to be what it is today. And again, it continues to evolve as a study, and we're becoming more and more complex, as well as more and more effective as far as learning about the experience of health in a multifaceted way, not just the transmission of disease. So keep that in mind as you move forward. And one more little tidbit, Florence Nightingale was actually one of the initial folks who started gathering data and really set the stage for some of the things that we're doing right now as far as tracking connections and starting to make causation thoughts about why things occur the way they occur. And epidemiology has a very strong basis in that key question of why things happen, and to watch trends over time to determine how things will hopefully we will be able to determine how things will evolve. And epidemiology also has a very key play in some of the emerging studies that are occurring as far as genetics and genomics. So just kind of keep that in mind, that this is an evolutionary process as far as epidemiology, and really take a deep dive into chapters 1 and 2. It will help you to lay that very strong foundation as we move forward. So for your convenience, I've included some customized PowerPoints. They don't have voice, but they do have some of the key components that are really important for you to understand as we move forward. This is just a very, very quick little overview of what makes a community healthy. And again, it's it's shifting our stance, looking at that very big picture of all those components that actually impact health. There's also resources within the Centers for Disease Control, and you'll find that we'll use CDC quite a bit throughout this course. And know that this will also help you as you're looking at some of your assignments or your discussion boards as far as differentiating some of those key terms such as epidemic, pandemic, and endemic. The MMWR, again, is a key factor as far as really looking at some of the data and some of the studies that are occurring. Again, this is a resource available through CDC, and this document, though long, has some very valuable information as far as the structure of the MMWR and how things have evolved again over time, looking at our focus of building that strong base for epidemiology in our module number 1. Then, of course, you'll have the links to your discussion board. So this is the introductions and the discussion board, but you can also access the discussion board through the left-hand menu, and just know you can always get to the discussion board that way, but there's also links within each and every one of the modules. And this is a link to the orientation highlight questions. Again, that's also included in the orientation section. Just know this link is here as kind of a convenience for you as you move forward. So let's go ahead and pop into the discussion board very quickly. Okay, for the discussion boards, we're going to start out with the introductions. So this is just a basic overview of what you seek to gain from the course, a little background so we get to know each other as far as your family, your work history, those types of things. And this is an opportunity for you to greet your classmates if you would like, but it's not mandatory by any means. And I've already introduced myself there to start us off, but just give us just a little feedback as far as who you are and what you seek to gain from the course. And as we move forward in the discussion board itself, as the orientation video indicated, there are sets of questions and you can respond to your choice as far as which set you want to respond to. Just remember, looking at the instructions for the discussion boards, I included the instructions right here for you since this is our first formal discussion boards to kind of get you started. Make sure that you're starting a new thread when you're starting your post, those types of things. And also remember that the discussion board is 40% of your overall grade. So the 8 discussion boards that we'll be doing will comprise 40% of your grade. So this is a real important part because this is where we build what you're learning throughout the course. So with that being said, you need to do your initial post by Wednesdays, and that you need to do at least one other post on 2 separate days, meaning a total of 2 other posts in addition to your initial response to the questions in the discussion board. And just remember that your initial post must have some resource attached to it to actually augment the conversation and to add to the information that you gain from our textbook. So we want to expand our basis as we move forward in each one of the questions. So again, you can choose set 1 or you can choose set 2. If you have any questions about the discussion board, please let me know. But I look forward to our upcoming conversations. Take care. Bye-bye now.